And if we don't do it correctly, then we can wind up hurting the shoulders. So it's really key. So this is part 2. This is 2A. These are our forward folds with the swing of the elbows. Okay, and we can come from the center of the mat, but we can also come into it through our angel wings. So watch me at first, and then we'll do it together. So this is called flexing. Everyone do this first, without the swing. Flex. If I say flex, this is what I mean. I don't mean this, which we'll call like pouty stance. Okay, so a lot of people had your hands really low when the elbows were hooked. And so can you see that this closes my shoulder? The shoulder's rolling down. Can you see that this opens my shoulder? Shoulder's rolling up. Okay, so in a lot of these poses, if I say flex, it means your hands drifted down to your waist. And this is not how we want to stretch the shoulders back, right? We can actually like overextend and join. That make sense? Okay, so let's try it one more time. We're going to inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, hug. We always hug the swing. This is our hook. We always have at least one hook. And then we're going to flex. Even here, we're going to flex. Okay? And as we flex, we're going to walk our feet wide. And as we flex, we're going to keep leaning forward. Now we're going to open up the arms one at a time to get it into the elbow creases, right? But let's keep our hands high, much higher. Does that feel different? Yeah, it's a big opener for the chest. And I want the head to stay in line with the body as much as possible, whatever that means for you. You keep that pillar, but now it's a horizontal axis, but it's the same pillar. So I want you to pull your tailbone back as you let the crown of the head pull forward. I call this dynamic tension, where the body's moving in 2 opposite directions simultaneously, and that's how we create length. Can you guys lengthen through the back of the neck? Yeah, there you go. That's key. Because most people are kinking their neck and kinking their lower back, right? So we're trying to create a nice, strong line of energy. Heels out, toes in. You can come, a little bit more narrow in your stance, Carolyn, and you can come wider. There you go. You guys switch. Beautiful. And now when we rock from side to side, I want you to pause at the edges and really feel the outer shins. This is great for my runner friends. Can you feel that? That little twist there? That's going to open up that line. Prevent the shin splits. And then we're going to come to center. We're going to pause here. We're going to try a little bit of strength conditioning just to give people a sense of how we can use the strength to swing to strengthen. Let your left hand drop straight down to the front of the mat, right to the front of the mat. Center, yeah. So it's like a football stance, right? So remember, we're still flexing, right? Where's the hand when we're flexing? Up, yes, good. And let the fist point towards your face. Yeah, your fingers, good. And now when we twist, we're gonna inhale, look up to the right side of the ceiling and pull your fist towards your sternum. So stack your shoulders on top of one another. Yeah, so really pull down. So fist towards the sternum, maybe. This one, yeah, there you go. So bring it. Just come over. So it's going to be still in alignment with the shoulder, like you're flexing, and then pull down. Yeah, and then the shoulders stack. Beautiful. Now this can really help to replace the need for chiropractic. I'm telling you, it's so amazing how it can really bring out the spine if we do it correctly. If we don't do it correctly, we're just crunching. So inhale, go ahead and lengthen, look forward. Exhale, look down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. That's my shorthand for the poses. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, look down. So the lengthen is the most important part, right? So create space, and then twist and look up towards the sky, and exhale, look down. You can do 3 or 5 of those, or 10 in a class. I usually do about 3 or 5. And then you're gonna hold on to the swing by straightening the arm. Okay, so you're holding on tightly with your fingers in the right hand, and then you're gonna spin that overhead. There's gonna be an X, and now you're gonna lift and thread both hands through. So I'm opening up the shoulders now, right? We're working with the shoulders. So I want everyone to keep your head above your biceps, right? That's the alignment piece, head above the biceps. We tend to drop our head, and it really is heavy, not just the thoughts, the actual weight. And then we're pressing down and lifting our chest. So use just your arms. Now, if you're using your back, it'll look like this. If you use your arms, it's going to be really, really, really hard. Press, 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 and then come on back down. Yeah, so kind of micro movements. Press, 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 and lift. That's it. So this is going to be coming really handy when we do Superfly tomorrow, I promise you. Press, 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 and lift. And can you feel how we're engaging what I call the underbelly of the arm? This part gets really sleepy on people, and when the arm looks like a flag, it waves. That's the part we're working on here. Super important. So we're going to inhale, press all the way up to stand. Let the left hand come out and overhead. We're gonna bend the elbow again, right? We're gonna keep it flexed, which means it's high, and then the right hand comes down to the ground. Beautiful. Okay, inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Fist towards the sternum, right? So go ahead and inhale, come back to neutral. You can exhale, look down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, look down for just a breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, twist. Stack the shoulders when you twist. Hang out there. That's it. That's it. And then inhale, lengthen, exhale, look down. So one more time, we're going to straighten the arm. The left fingers grab. There's no X. We're just going to rotate that overhead. And let's do a different variation. Okay, here we hold on with both fingers, both hands. And it's always. Yeah, this is super important. So this straightens the neck and shoulders. If you guys all want to drop your head really heavy, you're going to feel your shoulders start to strain. That's how most people are when they're upright. So we want to keep our ears above our biceps at all times. And then when we press, just use your arms. Press, 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 straight arms, come on up. Oh my God, should be hard. And then exhale, lower. Keep your hips sinking back as your head pulls forward, right? So inhale, lift, press, 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 press. Good. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Good. And then come all the way up to stand. So you can see we're going to need all of that strength but ergonomics in order to come into Superfly. And don't do this now, but just watch what I mean so you can feel the inspiration, because otherwise you're like, oh God, this is so boring. But it's really helpful because most people cannot lift their upper body. And especially as women, we want to be able to like pull ourselves out of a pool or off the top of the building or whatever, you know, superhero circumstances we get ourselves in. Really important. So we want to be able to lift our upper body. So Superfly looks like this. If I was just going to pop into it, I'm going to let my hands get in my leg loops and I'm going to press straight up and out. Now there's no way I'm going to press my upper body up tomorrow if I don't get these ergonomics. So you see where my head is? It is not all the way down here because there's no way I can press, right? So we have to lift and press. So we're learning it on the ground so that way we can do it in the air. And we'll all be able to do Superfly tomorrow, but you'll be like, aha. So every single pose that we do leads to the next sequence. It's kind of a cumulative like that. And then it does turn into a dance. There can be lots of pretty flow and play and all of that. But right now, we're kind of doing the little bite-sized pieces, and I'd just like to show you. That's why we do that. And then we're like, I'll do it, right? So it's exciting. So yeah, let's just try that one part one more time. Let's bring the swing in front of us, holding on with both hands. Walk it out into a wide straddle. If you're like, I don't remember how to get into it, just hold on to the swing within front of you, bend your elbows, come on down, okay? Now just notice, just imagine all of your body weight hanging in your arms, and now press. Press, 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 and lift. Press, 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 and lift. That's it. That's how important that pose is, right? Now you can see why we need that. One more time, lower with control. Don't collapse, right? Because if you collapse when you're in Superfly, you're flying right out of that thing. Okay, inhale, press, 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 lift your whole body, lift your whole body. Beautiful, thank you. So there was a lot more engagement that time because you knew why we wanted to use it. That's really good. Okay, so now we're going to move right into 2B. If you need to, go ahead and turn the page or whatever it is to make sure that you can see that number 2, we finished translations number 1. Number 2 has 2 parts. Both of them are forward folds. Okay, now forward folds for the 2A is just with the swing at our elbows and in our hands. So we're not looking in the AYP manual, just the RX outline, okay, for now. And then here, the big one. Oh, yes, yes. Okay, so 2B is with the swing at our hips. So it's okay to take a little break, have a little sip of water. I'll just demo and then we'll do it all together. But if you are with your swing, if your swing is with you, go ahead and press it straight down so you can see with straight arms where the swing hits. Now, if our arms aren't straight, it's going to be either at our belly or our bladder, and that's no weight. We want to press our arms completely straight and wide enough so they're on the outside of our hips, because some people do this and then there's no way that we're forward folding like that.
This is something you want to have your students do from the get-go. Or so you know that height is right.
Well, the height is measured by Sumo. Yeah, so that's how we get this. Like our body is all based in sacred geometry, and that's what we're learning. Everybody's body, when you have straight arms, the swing hits your legs. Isn't that amazing? And I was like, well, I have long arms. Well, then you also have a long torso.
So when you go over what to look for, we set someone up in Sumo?
Always. Thank you for asking. Yeah, and for you, you're going to bring your leg loops up one. We're not going to use them yet, but if you bring the swing up, you bring the leg loops up because everything moves together. The whole swing is based in sacred geometry. Let me sit up, just two little snippets here and there. So everybody's body is based on this thing called the golden ratio. It is the Fibonacci sequence or that nautilus shell. And if we move in the world, even with our finances, because I sent Amy this whole long mathematical formula. I was like, this is how I make decisions. I know it's way more than you asked for, but it's all based in sacred geometry, so it works. So there's 5-2-2-1 ratios throughout our whole body, which means your foot actually fits in the space between your elbow and your wrist. So if we make equipment that is based in sacred geometry and golden ratios, it will fit everybody. Now, it took a while to figure out the length versus the stretch and the give and all of that. So in time, things might stretch out and your body didn't change. But typically, when you buy a swing, it's going to be tighter, and then when it stretches out, it's going to stretch to perfect. I used to make the mathematics so the swing was perfect when you bought it, and then when it stretched out, it felt too big. And you'll see, if you use some of the older swings, you're like, oh, it feels a little too long, or it's not exactly right. Because if we work with sacred geometry, it just works for everybody.
And even as the fabric stretches out between washings, does that change?
They are built to stretch, and when they're stretched, they're perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's within like ratios, so they're all stretching in the same ratio, so it usually works out. Yeah. So let's try it one more time and really feel when we straighten our arms hit our legs. Right. So this is our next hub. So we worked with the hub behind the heart. So there's two major hubs in the body. So when we get into the Arabs, it'll make more sense. But we're working with the upper hub and we're working with the lower hub. So most people have injuries, either at this hub or this hub.
Okay.
If you're lucky, you have injuries in both, right? You're really special. But usually it's one or the other. And there's a reason for that. There's a patterning in the body. It has to do with the electrical system. My background is electrical engineering, so I work with body engineering. And so is the electrical, is the light out? Is there a light bulb out up here? Or is the light bulb out down here? Or maybe both, because, light bulbs go out in both places. So yeah, so there's usually one place where the circuitry is off, and I can immediately see it in your body by your choices. Now, you seeing it in your body is way more interesting, but if you want to do a private session with me, we'll go into the light bulbs. But really, it's you can tell immediately if somebody has more strength here or more strength here. When we become whole, when we come back into wholeness, we're balanced, which means we have upper body strength, we have lower body strength, we have strength with our left side, we have strength with our right side. So that's the harmony that I'm looking for in everybody that I work with. Is the left side and the right side doing the same thing? Is the upper body and the lower body communicating? Are they working together? Do you know what I mean by working together? You can usually see one part of the body is leading, and the other one's just kind of getting dragged along. Or you can see that in somebody's body. They're right-handed. So I teach backwards, so this is my left hand. But they're right-handed, and their left side is just literally being dragged along. That might be happening when you're running. So, that happens as we're dragging one side of our body along. And the swing is like truth serum. So you'll tell immediately. Even when you're pushing down, do both arms push down evenly? Or does one arm kind of do this thing where it's like, that's all really interesting to me, right? So we just want to get curious. Let's all come here. Yeah. And if we can't straighten the arms, then we just want to work with getting the upper body in a place where, and we can always bring the swing down. Everyone's like, I can't do it. Well, bring the swing down, it's easier. And then we bring the swing down, they're like, oh, that was easy. So yeah, you can always bring it down if you need. So on our tippy toes, standing in the center of the mat, we're just gonna press our hips forward and press our hips back. Do not head dive, okay? So there's a tendency to lead with the head in all these poses, so I'm just gonna keep the gaze up. I'm just gonna remind you guys, keep the gaze up, press the hips forward. We're gonna lead with the pelvis. This is our pivot point, right? This is kind of like where all of our strength and power comes from. And if we lead from this place, then we usually have an easier time. You can always bring that down if you want.
It's just kind of slippery.
Yeah. Okay, so once we press our hips forward, then we're gonna try and come out to angel wings. Notice my heart is leading the way, angel wings. Press the hips. If you don't press the hips, can't do angel wings, right? Yeah, press, press, press. And then we bend and come into our forward fold. Now, once you touch down, I want you to press right back up. I know, it's really slippery, which means you have to use your spidey grip with your feet. And then come all the way down and right back up. This is called using the back muscles, right? You have to press your hips even more. Press and lift. Yes. It's going to be strong on the back. Come on down. Okay, let's stay down. That was exciting. Right, so if we do that every day, we're going to engage all of the paraspinals, all of the back muscles, and back again. Very strong. Now we're going to clasp our elbows and hang. I want you to think of bringing your biceps up to your ears, right? So don't drop your head. Bring your biceps up to your ears. That makes sense? So, Lizzie, I want you to elongate a little bit more. So instead of doing this, bring your biceps up to your ears. So you're letting your elbows drink up in front of the back. Yes. Now you have a nice long line of energy. Our feet are really, 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 really grounded in the center of the mat. So just the balls of the feet and let your heels come up. Hi, Charlotte. Can you ground your feet in the center of the mat? If it's too slippery, you can just wet it a little bit and have some essential oil spray. So if you're having trouble gripping, the mats actually get grippier, more grip, when they're wet. So you can always have like a little spritzer next to you if that's helpful. Center of the mat, so toes at the center of the mat, hip distance. Yes. Good. Everybody doing okay? So these are our forward folds. This does not look like your grandma's yoga, right? So our hips are draped over the front of the mat. Our heels are up, even though we're really lengthening through the back of the legs. We're pulling our sit bones towards the sky, and we're bending at the hip flexors, not the waist. Most of the time, if the heels drop down, you're bending at the waist, right? So we're gently rocking from side to side. Maybe you feel like you're getting a free rocking session and it's really painful. I promise you in time, it will feel better. And if it does get too uncomfortable, you can just come out and take a break or try softening through the hip flexors. I know it sounds odd, but that's all we need to do is soften in this place that has a lot of tension, and it usually feels way better. Okay, now from here, I want you to make some space in front of you, and then go ahead and slide your hands all the way forward off of your mat, all the way forward. So this is our down dog. Okay, so in our down dog, we keep this nice big V shape in the body. There's like, you can do flying dog, where your arms go out to the side, because we have so little weight on our arms, but I want you to ground through your hands and your fingers, like your life depends on it. You're going to notice that all of your weight is in your hips. So everybody doing okay? Does anybody need to adjust? You guys wondering how to adjust? So if the swing is not in the sweet spot, which is below the hip bone, we're going to lift one leg at a time. So you lift and arch and then twist that hip towards the sky, and then drop the foot back down. We're going to inhale, arch and lift and twist that hip towards the sky, and it should slide down. It'll slide the swing down into a spot that usually feels a little bit better. That help? Anybody notice that it changed? Yeah, okay, good. So now we're going to go into cat's meow. We're just going to inhale, arch and open, look forward with your chest, and then exhale, round in, look towards your navel. So we pull forward, pull your shoulders over your wrist, arch and open. Exhale, round and squeeze, look towards your navel, round your back. Inhale, arch, we're undulating the spine. So it's like a down dog and a cat-cow got together. Squeeze, lift. Awesome, let's add a leg. After the next squeeze, round in, we're gonna inhale, lift. Let's lift the right leg up, bring that with us, arch and open. Exhale, round in and squeeze. So Charlotte, look up when we arch and open. Lift, long line of energy, exhale, round in and squeeze. Inhale, lift. Okay, beautiful, that's it, and round in. All right, happy dog. Plant that foot down, wag your tail from side to side, do some loop-de-loops, figure eights, whatever feels good. Try to keep the arms straight if you can. If you need to bend the elbows, that's fine, but long lines of energy are what we're going for here. So even in the happy dog, you might just do tiny little micro movements because it feels so intense there. I promise in time, you'll still feel the sensation, but it won't hurt. Inhale, lift. Let's bring the left leg up, arch and open, look forward. Exhale, round and squeeze. Inhale, lift, pull forward, shoulders over the wrist, pull forward, yes. Exhale, round in. Squeeze the Metta nose. Inhale, long lines of energy. Lift and pull forward. Really strong arms. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, lift. All right, and then foot plants down. Happy dog. One more time. Wag the tail, side to side. Loopy loops. Whatever feels good. So really different in a down dog. Most people that I know that do yoga, the chaturungas and down dog, it hurts their wrists. So this really changes the ergonomics of the pose. It really gives some relief to the upper body and more intensity in the lower body. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how to come into a plank. Let's go with the hands. Let them slide back to the front of the mat. I like to be a little bit in front of my mat. You can be on the mat, but a little bit in front feels good to me. And what we want to do is bring our feet hip distance, okay? Make sure you don't kick your buddy behind you. And your feet are level with your hips. So hip distance, where are your hips? Bring them down. Your hips are not up there. Bring them down. Level with the earth. Where's the earth? Bring them down.
You flex the toes.
I really like to point my feet a lot. I come more from a dance background, so I do that. You can flex for sure and get a good stretch. So level with the earth. So down. Yeah, you don't want to kick your knee. That's right. Good idea. Everybody's good. So we're going to inhale, pull forward, and exhale as in our floating plank and press back. Let's do this together. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, press back. All together. Inhale, pull forward. Yeah. And then exhale, press back. Otherwise, somebody's going to nibble on your face. Inhale, pull forward. Now stay forward, and I want you to try bicycling. Right? So walk your hands even more forward for me, Caroline. There you go. Bicycle. Bicycle. So this is how we can start to engage our core. If your arms aren't working, straight arms as a plank, then you're not in the right place. Really work. Pull forward, pull forward. So Petra, your hands should be really long. Bring them off the mat, bring them forward, and pull. Pull. Yes. Works. Yes. You gotta work. Beautiful. Yeah, it's really strong. So that is the more dynamic version, right? The restorative version is just let your hands sit on the mat. Let's try knee to elbow out to the side. Okay, so we're gonna bring left knee to left elbow. So we're going out to the side, like we would in a plank series. And out to the side. That's good. Straight arms, keep looking forward. So you never want to look down, right? So that's the habit. So one knee at a time. You can do both knees, that's kind of fun. It's like one leg and then the other leg. And now let's try both knees. Like we're hopping into Bakasana and then we're gonna swim back. Bakasana. Woo! Swim back. It's like a microsecond. And then back. It's really strong, right? Okay, so from here, on that. Yeah, yeah, it is. I'm sure the hip flexors are a little tight, so they're not used to this kind of pressure. Then we're gonna hook one foot and then the other foot on the outside of the swing. So it's always outside in that we hook. Okay, so one foot and then the other foot. And now we're still in our plank. Bring your heels down to your butt. Put your feet down. That's how you keep that hook. If you let your feet float away, you lose your hook. Okay, now we're gonna do our chaturungas. Okay, from here we're just going to dip. Remember, look forward, dip with your heart. Elbows slide in towards one another like you're trying to grace your rib cage in a chaturanga. Beautiful. Hands shoulder distance. So all those alignment principles that we normally do in a yoga class, we kind of incorporate them in when we can. Now those ones are kind of the easier ones, believe it or not. So let your feet slide towards your bum, Charlotte, pull them down. So if we pull our knees towards the ground, we'll keep our hook. Otherwise, we'll start to slide out. Now, if you want to do harder ones, we're going to walk our hands towards the center of the mat. Not the exact center, but in that direction. Nice. Now we're going to do push-ups. So handstand push-ups, right? So now there's more body weight. And this will strengthen the upper pectorals. And you can see for a beginner, this might be too much. So we're going to stick to the front of the mat. The more we work, the closer we walk to the front of the center of the mat, the harder they are. We stay in the front of the mat. All right, let's relax. So let's drop our elbows down. Okay, bring your head down towards the ground. Interlace your fingers. Let's let the crown of the head find the floor. And then all of a sudden we're in a headstand, right? Feet stay close towards your bum. Now if you need a center, you can actually walk your elbows back towards the middle of the mat a little bit, but just find your plumb line, right? It feels good. It doesn't have to be perfectly stacked, but you want to make sure that you feel like you're in a good position. So yeah, so we create a nice triangle with our arms. Keep your heels towards your bum. Otherwise, you'll slide out. Okay, pull your elbows in so they're in alignment with the shoulders. Elbows in. There you go. Great. Beautiful. So headstand is one of those poses that has a lot of benefit, but can be challenging to hold for 5 minutes. So this allows you to get all of the goodness of the posture without any strain. Okay, now if your hip flexors are talking to you and feeling a little unhappy, you can pull your knees towards one another, start to release your feet and let your ankle bones touch. So knees touch, ankle bones touch, and then your knees can pull down towards your chest, and you keep your hook. The swing is on the top of your legs. It's a little bit nicer on the hip flexor. So this would be the more restorative version. Just a little bit of weight on the crown of the head. The more you pull your knees down, the more your head lifts. If your knees rise, your head comes down. So find the perfect balance for the amount of weight that you want on the crown of the head. Beautiful, guys. So usually we do a nice long headstand at the end of class and really hold it. We're going to play with some variations here. So what we're going to do is start to extend our legs down towards the earth. Let your toes come towards the mat. Okay, sometimes when we're upside down, we forget which way is the earth. So I always reference the mat. So this is called our floating leaf. In our floating leaf, we can kind of rock up and down, slightly pulling our toes towards the earth and then letting them float no higher than the hips. And if you feel really comfortable and stable, you can bring your arms out to the sides, let yourself float completely, and then clasp your hands behind your back, and releasing your fingers at your sacrum, and then pulling your arms, straight arms overhead towards the ground as well. So fingertips are pulling away from the toes. That feels really good for a more advanced variation. Maybe look over one shoulder and then the other shoulder. Toes are touching, knees are touching, straight legs. Yeah, that's long lines of energy. Good. Slowly release your spring loaded. Bring your hands back down to the ground, to the front of the mat. Toes touch down. All of a sudden, we're in our down dog again. So let's do a few rounds of our happy dog. Rolling out your neck. Letting your hips sway from side to side. And then we're going to come out through angel wings, okay? So we're going to walk forward with our hands, walk forward with our feet, walk forward with the hands, walk forward with the feet. Keep going, keep tension on the swing. And then when you feel that maximum amount of tension, press up onto the balls of the feet and lift straight up. You have to lead with the hips. We're going to really learn how to lead with the hips. Press the hips, press, press, press to lift the upper body. Lift all the way up. Good. Beautiful, guys, and then hold on to the swing to come stand. Ooh. And just take a moment to feel this band of energy. Just feel how different the hips are, right? We don't get this much pressure, this much digging, this much intensity here. It's really, really, really helpful. Most of the lower back pain is actually coming from the hip flexors. So we're going to work on that all weekend. Let's take a little break.